Hello everyone and welcome in the new Prussia army video, which was dropped a bit more than a week ago in Essen with a box. Army wise or army composition wise it's still the same. One Hauptmann and 2 shock trooper is the mandatory choice, the rest is the same. And we have one box as well that was dropped, but about it a bit later at the end of the video. So army rules are the same. I haven't really noticed any change on them, but let's go over them again. So we have the expert fire teams, which gives you 3 fire team instead of 2. And as previously, they still have the concentrated attack ability due to that, which means if the first unit in the fire team hits the target, the second unit can make a bloodbath on it for only 3 blood marker. The Masters of Grenade ability is still the same, giving 4 extra range to the grenade ranges, and is still very powerful. The forward positions are not mentioned separately but incorporated into the shock trooper rules or abilities, as you can see, and for 10 ducat they get the infiltrator keyword, which is very useful. So technically you can make one fire team which is like abusing the opponent in the first turn, which is very strong. The rapid assault also mentioned separately in the Hauptmann and shock trooper abilities section, and for plus 5 ducat they get extra dice for dash actions, which is very good. The specialist equipment, you can just technically see it in the new Prussian equipment tables, that it's still the same, that still no elite limit on automatic pistol and automatic shotgun. You can have 4 submachine gun and no grenade launcher and only 1 machine gun. The troop section also not mentioned, but it's still the same. You have the Hauptmann and the 2 shock trooper as mandatory choice, and you can have only 1 sniper priest and 1 mechanized heavy infantry. Lightly armored also not mentioned, but as you check the armor table, you can see that the machine armor and the reinforced armor are still restricted to the Hauptmann and the mechanized heavy infantry. And the light melee also not mentioned separately, but as you check the shock trooper abilities, it's not mentioned there. Units. So each unit has its profile now in the PDF, and starting with the Hauptmann, we can see the Hold Your Fire ability, which is actually the same as the On My Command ability for the general new Antioch, so technically it's just renamed, and it's working exactly the same. You can select one enemy which is seen by the Hauptmann, and technically you force the enemy to activate that model right after. Also, as you see, the rapid assault is incorporated into this section, so you can also see again that for 5 ducat you can get the extra dice for dash action. Otherwise the unit is the same, plus 2 for ranged, plus 2 for melee, 32mm base. The Feldkaplan, literally the same as the trench cleric, is just a rename, plus 1 dice, 32mm base. The trick here right now, I asked this in Essen from Thomas, that the trench cleric is getting both skill, so you don't have to choose between them, and if it seems to be too powerful, later probably this will be changed, but right now you have both the God is with us and both the onward Christian soldiers ability when you buy the Kaplan. So this makes it a very good unit in that case. But as a change, what I see it on the old rules PDF, it's getting the negate fear ability, so it's ignoring fear in melee combat. The sniper priest plus 2 minus 1 25mm base, same, and same skills as well, absolute fate and aim, so there is no change on the sniper priest itself other than you can have only 1 in the warband. The yeoman again is the same, plus 0 25mm, and getting the bolt action rifle only for 5 ducat, so no change in that. The shock troopers, now they are also the same, plus 0, plus 1, 25mm, they have the shock charge as basic, so they can have one extra d6 rolled for the charge, and you select the highest one. And you can purchase the forward positions for 2 shock trooper, and you can buy the rapid assault for all of the shock trooper. In my opinion, it's worth to do it. It's a very useful extra for them. The mechanized heavy infantry, it's again the same, 85-95. They are still strong, and there is one extra sentence in the description which was not in the playtest rules, which is that their armor cannot be removed or lost throughout the campaign for any reason. So whichever you buy, I mean reinforced armor or machine armor, it can be changed. So it's very specifically stated now in the rules. So the combat engineer, I would say the same, but instead of the +1 ranged, it gets +1 for the melee actions. So now it's better in melee. We will see how it will plays out for it. It makes it a bit harder for the satchel charge, but otherwise the unit not changed. It gets built-in combat engineer body armor and the shovel, and as abilities it's still getting the battlefield demolition, which lets the combat engineer to use the satchel charge with one hand, or let's say ignore the heavy keyword. It can still defuse the mine that gets into contact with, and it can still fortify itself into the ground, let's say in the middle of nowhere, and giving itself cover. The combat medic, it's a little bit tricky. Again, it's the same +0, +0, 25mm base. It's getting the same equipment as basic, gas mask, standard armor, medkit, misericordia, but while in the playtest rules it's specifically stated it cannot be changed, here only the armor is restricted from change. So it's giving it a bit more flexibility, I would say, and is still getting the expert medic and finish the fallen ability, but the expert medic, instead of 1 dice, it's doing it with 2 dice, so it's kind of useful, and the finish the fallen is the same. And we have the specific equipment tables, which is quite helpful in my opinion. So in the ranged weapons we see all the ranged weapons that's available for the Prussia faction or sub-warband, with all the modifications that's specific to the warband. I think that's all that needs to mention about it. I gave the feedback to Thomas that maybe the equipment limit could be a separate column next to the price, so it won't be that wall of text feeling if you try to go through it, but hopefully they will update and it will be much prettier in that case. The melee weapon table, we see that still the tank splitter sword is the only specific item for them. And now we have another table for the grenades, which is also I think very helpful, so everyone can see which are the grenade type of weapons in the game or in the warband. And we have the shields also separately from the armor, which is again very helpful. I believe there will be more rules clarification regarding these, but it's very nice to see now what's what. And we have the equipment also separately. You can see that the Glory having a little bit different icon than the Ducat. Here, what's kind of confusing to me that only the combat helmet has the headgear keyword and the gas mask not. So it's a little bit confusing for me. Maybe it's just a typo, we'll see. But we see one new item here, which is the Holy Smoke. And the rest is the same. What was confusing for me first, that here only the warband specific items visible, let's say. And I believe that the campaign specific exploration items will be in a separate table, because these are the ones that are completely missing from here. And as Prussia specific items, we still have the tank splitter sword, same price, same ability or keywords, but instead of 3 there is only 2 that you can buy, so we lost 1, but in exchange the way it works are more stable, which means previously it only worked if the enemy had armor on it, so -1, -2 or -3. Now it works all the time, and it means when you hit the enemy, you set one of the injured dice on a 6 and you roll the rest, and that's it. So it's very straight, more powerful in my opinion. It's more tactical now where you place that 2 sword on the units, I would say. And we have the new item, the Holy Smoke, which is a consumable Feldkaplan only item, which means you need to buy it probably for every mission, because you're definitely going to use it. And what it does, at the beginning of the game, you say that the Kaplan opens the canister or whatever it is, and smells or sniffs the smoke, and it gives it ignore fear or negate fear, and -1 injury dice against the Feldkaplan, which is very good. Also mentioned that right now it can be combined with the Martyrdom Pill, which is even more powerful. Also, what I just noticed now here, that maybe it's also a typo, that the Feldkaplan separately has the negate fear keyword. Maybe it's just a typo because that wouldn't do anything otherwise here for the Holy Smoke, so I believe it's due to the typo. As for campaign and promotion, I would still say that the main candidate for promotion is the Mechanized Heavy Infantry, because it's a very expensive unit and you can have only one, so it's worth to promote it as soon as possible. And after that, I would say your next 2 target is the 2 Shock Trooper, which is the mandatory choice, so you don't have to rebuy them all the time if they are also dying. So I think this is very mandatory for Prussia army. Otherwise, I see that only the combat engineer worth to promote, but maybe more Shock Trooper is better. I would say it's up to your playstyle, you will see what's more useful for you. Now about the box. So in Essen, or let's say during Essen, the first plastic box set was dropped, and it was the Prussia box. It's a very beautiful box, and it has 8 units in them in total. 3 Yeoman, 3 Shock Trooper, 1 Feldkaplan and 1 Hauptmann, and all has the possibility for 2 different assembly. In some cases it just means different head or arm, in other cases it means different weapon options, so it's a very good base for kit bashing also. I would say it's a very nice boss. I really like the Feldkaplan in person. I took some photo in Essen from the cabinet, and you can see all the options assembled here. I think it's a very nice start, and I will be really curious which other box is going to be produced separately, or which unit is going to be released solo or still kept in STL5, for example. So this will be an open question for the future, but I believe this box seems to be a very nice start for the plastic kits. So in summary, the new Prussia rule seems to be almost no change. There is very minor tweaking of mostly the units, but I believe it's a general new Antioch buff, what we will see very soon in the final rules. And I believe there is one typo at the Feldkaplan with the negate fear keyword, but we will see if it's going to be also changed or remains as it is. And they got 1 new item as the Holy Smoke. We lost 1 tongue splitter sword, so we can have only 2 in total, and there is the new plastic box kit for the units. So that's the new Prussia rules and box set. Let me know what do you think, and we will see soon the final rules and the future plastic kits. Thank you, and see you soon in the next videos. Bye bye.